Hello, everyone. It's Leslie Flowers, Trailblazer for Women in Business, and this is Awakening Your Infinite Potential Telesummit, sponsored by Accelerate Experience Events 2018. And today we have with us an amazing expert, Deborah Oronzio. She's the founder of Self Empower Coaching, and it's her mission to help motivate professionals achieve not only success, but also experience satisfaction and significance in their careers. Deb helps people explore the next phases of their career path, whether that's advancement within their established career, or carving out a completely new path, including the startup of their own business. She holds 2 certifications in coaching, one from the Life Mastery Institute as a Dream Builder coach, and the second from the Coach Training Alliance. Deb has a deep and diverse background in business, training, and education. She spent considerable time in the medical diagnostics industry, primarily in the areas of marketing and management. Her most recent positions were Director of Entrepreneurship and Business Marketing Instructor at Wake Technical Community College. Deb is an active SCORE business mentor and also volunteers as a career coach for Dress for Success. She not only works with aspiring and existing entrepreneurs, but also with those who are seeking new career opportunities. Her primary interest is in helping people explore and cultivate their mindset concerning their entrepreneurial or job-seeking experiences. Deb is adept in facilitating the process of designing and developing the vision for your business or your career. And she frequently counsels in the areas of business planning and effective marketing techniques, including branding. Welcome, Deb. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate the invitation.
Was so excited, and I'm really thrilled that you were able to make time to be here today, and I know that what you're going to share is going to awaken people. So tell us a little about your awakening and how you got here and how to recognize that awakening and what did you do?
It all started with a voicemail. I was at Wake Tech in my office, and I was just about to counsel one of my people from the community who were interested in starting their own small business. And there was some type of break in our conversation. And I was listening to my voicemail, and the message I received was from our Director of Human Resources, inviting me to a meeting with her and the Vice President the following Tuesday. Now, this was a Friday. You know how you have one of those, I just know what's going to happen moments?
Yes.
And I did not appreciate the way that it was delivered, but so be it. And I knew that the college was going to tell me your services are no longer needed. Needless to say, it was a heart-wrenching weekend, but I mustered up all of my fortitude and strength and went to the meeting on Tuesday. And yes, that's exactly what I was told. The interesting thing being, this was not the first time I've been told this. I have been transitioned out of an existing career or job probably 5 times over the course of my career. Business conditions or whatever the case may be. At that moment, when I walked out of the office, I said to myself, you know what? I have given my blood, sweat, and tears to a variety of companies and to a variety of institutions over the course of my career. I've always strived to give it my best shot. And it doesn't look like I'm very much appreciated. I do tend to be someone with an entrepreneurial spirit, although I'm not sure I recognized it at the time. Others around me would have defined it as, she's always rocking the boat. And yes, I was always rocking the boat, to me, in the interest of positive change and progress. In any case, I told myself, that is it. I am no longer going to give my blood, sweat, and tears to someone else. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to step out on my own and do it. The interesting thing about that decision was I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. I had explored the concept of going out and starting my own business earlier. However, my dilemma was always, well, what am I really good at? And what really drives me with purpose and passion that represents a path that I want to pursue? The next steps that I took after leaving the college were to start thinking about the possibility of coaching. This is something that I had explored in the past. And when I was honest with myself, I believe that it was my fear that stopped me from pursuing it several years earlier. And this time, even though I was afraid, there was simply something inside of me that said, you have got to move forward with this. I spent the summer doing a lot of networking, looking up people who I knew were coaches and having interviews with them to ask them, what was their defining moment? How did they decide that they were going to pursue this type of an opportunity in their lives? And then also doing some practical research as it related to the coaching schools that they attended. In one such instance, I'll never forget this. I had gone to a networking meeting, and there was a young, vibrant woman there who was the speaker. And it turns out she was a coach. So she gave us her talk and, of course, invited us to have like a free consultation with her, which I did pursue. And one of the key questions that she asked me at the time was, well, what's stopping you? Because there's always something stopping us. And I said to her, I'm afraid I'm too old to be doing this. And she kind of laughed. And she said to me, can I share something with you? And I said, what is that? She said, I came from a background of education. I was a teacher, I think, in the elementary school system. And she said, when I realized that I wanted to go out and coach people, my biggest fear was, I'm too young to do this. I don't have enough experience. So that was kind of the second defining moment where I said, I'm the one who is standing in my own way if I don't decide to pursue this. And I think it was during that time that I started to really get an inkling about the idea that decision is an action in and of itself. When we were undecided about things, or when we resist walking through any fears we might have, it paralyzes us. So from that moment, I started doing quite a bit of networking, but the networking I was doing at that time had a lot to do with personal development. It was something that I was always attracted to, and I'd pursued a little bit here and a little bit there, but I never had pursued it full force. Why? Because I was trapped in the corporate world. And what do you do when you're in the corporate world? You give the companies you work for 50 to 60 or plus hours of your working week. And if you have a family, in many cases, that's what takes up the rest. At this point, however, I had some free time to pursue this. And I have to say that I really liked what I was experiencing. It looks like you wanted to ask me a question.
I do. I'm fascinated with what you're saying. I had this big insight with something that you said a little bit back. And it happened when you got that confirmation at the meeting at the college, which you had heard before, but as parents, anybody who's had a child or a niece or a nephew, if anybody messes with that child, you will go toe to toe, head to head with that person. It will not matter who watches, what you say, or what the impact is. And what it struck me when you said that to yourself was unconditional love for yourself. That it was that same kind of no holds barred, that's it, I'm done. And am I correct? Is that same? I just got chills. Because that's when I'm that way, right? And it seemed like it didn't matter what was going to get in your way, you had made your mind up.
I'm not sure that I recognized it as such at the time.
Right.
I don't know whether I would have labeled it that way, but yes, it was definitely a defining moment in that way. I think because, especially from a business perspective, I realized you haven't been standing up for yourself. You haven't even been investing in yourself enough to explore what is it that you really love to do? What is it that you're really good at doing? And there was that other element of, I'm the one who is in charge of my life. So let's start acting that way.
Yeah. And yeah, we can pretend until it actually becomes so. So what would be one piece of advice that you would give to the listeners who are at this crossroads, or who have had that feeling like, I am so done? You did take one or two steps. Remind us, because it's critical to get into action. I got that from what you were saying. It's one thing to say, I'm not going to do this again, but then to actually get into action. Tell us again, as soon as you realized that, what were the two things you did?
Well, as I said, I started networking in the community, which was something I'd had very little time to do up to that point. And because I kept being drawn to this idea of, I'd love to be able to coach people and mentor them in some way, I started reaching out to people who were doing just that, so that I could learn, well, what was it like for them? How did they go about the process of, let's say, remaking themselves or reinventing themselves? I taught entrepreneurship classes at the college, and one of the cardinal rules of stepping out on your own is learn on someone else's dime. In other words, take the opportunity to reach out to people who have been there, done that, and hopefully they will be gracious enough, which most of them were, to help you, to help to guide you, and to share with you mistakes that they may have made, and they may be able to help you circumvent those same mistakes.
I love that. So I remember you said something about creating a vision. You hadn't done that before. Tell us about the vision you created for yourself, and then how you stepped into that vision.
Well, I was introduced to that concept of creating a vision for myself, first through the mentoring program that I participated in with you, gracious lady, and secondarily through another program that I had learned about, which is called the Dream Builder program. And the Dream Builder program was developed by Mary Morrissey, who is a world-renowned personal development expert. In simple terms.
And a woman.
And a woman. That is correct. The simplest way that I like to describe dream building is we start with teaching ourselves how to conduct what I call transformational thinking. Sounds like a big hoity-toity term, right? All that it means is we learn the techniques to think beyond our current circumstance so that we can imagine what is possible in our lives. And in stimulating the imagination, we can then move forward to create a vision in our mind. We actually kind of map out our lives up here. And one of the most interesting things I learned about that is in mapping out that vision in our mind, that vision in our mind is as real as anything that's happening around us. It simply has not manifested in physical reality as yet. And one of the things that we've discussed in your program and Mary's program as well is this concept that thoughts become things.
And yeah, and the thing I've done your workshop too, and the thing about the vision, and correct me if this isn't accurate, it puts you in a place of feeling really great.
Absolutely.
And then the purpose of feeling great is
you're motivated. When we feel great like that, and we give ourselves the time to imagine and to record, meaning writing it down or recording it in some way, what is possible and what it is that we know deep down inside we are longing to do. We're longing to do this. It gives us hope, and in having hope, it builds our confidence. And one comment that I wanted to come back to, Leslie, that you made reference to as far as taking action. We know that taking action is important.
Right.
What I want to really stress with our listeners is the action doesn't have to be big.
Yeah.
It can be teeny, tiny baby steps, but it's teeny, tiny baby steps in the direction of our dreams. And when we are able to continually do that, holding that vision of who we want to be and where we want to be consistently in our mind, it's amazing what comes forth.
Well, and one of the fun things is pretending you already have it.
Oh, that's exactly right. Yes, that's key. Having been in my workshop, you know what I advise people to do when we're going through the vision workshop, and I ask them, write out your vision for yourself as best you can. And of course, it's usually their very first stab at ever taking the opportunity to do something like this.
Yeah.
There are a couple of guidelines that I use. Number one, we start with the phrase, I am so happy and grateful now that, and after that, now that, we write out our vision as vividly as we possibly can, almost as though we were handwriting what a videographer would capture on a camera, with the key being everything is written in the present tense as though it is already happening. So what does that say? That says that it's not a place we are striving to go. It is a place and a mindset where we start living that way from that moment forward.
Deb, this is such good material. I want to ask you, so for those who are listening, I know you have a gift, and I know it will help people move them forward toward creating their vision. So if what you're seeing with Deb you see in yourself and you realize that, oh, you probably could do this yourself. Deb, tell us what you have made available for the listeners so that they can get right on with their journey if that's what they'd like to do, please.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As you mentioned at the beginning, Leslie, I am a career strategist and coach. So many of the techniques I use, although they are applicable to any significant area of our lives, I like to work with people focusing on the vision that they want to create for their career path.
Got it.
So on my website, I have a download, a free download. It is called Create Your Career Vision. 10 questions that we can ask ourselves, the first of which is the most important and can be the most challenging, but it's doable. And that is, if anything were possible, what would you love to be doing? Not like, not it's okay. What would you love to be doing in your vocation and career?
And that's on the download. So when you click to download Deb's option, it will take you to the place to get that download. And then
Exactly.
if they fill this out and they want to talk to you or they're really excited about it, is there a way for them to send this to you maybe by email?
Yes, absolutely. My email will be on the download. Good. And I do encourage people, take the opportunity to complete this for yourself. It's really a gift that you're giving to yourself. And you're going to see that some of the other questions are very practical questions about the kinds of things that you want to be doing in a job, the kind of culture that you want to surround yourself with. While they seem very simple at first look, sometimes we get to the point where we say, oh, I haven't thought about this in a long time. I encourage people to go complete the worksheet, send it to me at my email, and then I will be happy to set up a consultation where we can discuss it a little bit to see how I might be able to help you move forward with your career vision.
I love that. And I really especially appreciate your so generously sharing about your awakening moments and really what you did next. For me, if it's simple, I'll move forward. If it's complex, I usually don't. So it's been really my pleasure to have you here, Deb, and I know that the listeners are going to get lots of juicy value from what you said, and I'm very grateful to you for being here because I know how busy you are and for sharing from the heart how you got where you are and how you get to do what you love doing. So,
and my gratitude goes to you as well, Leslie. I appreciate the opportunity, and I appreciate the ability to help others do what they think is not possible to do. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
I love that. I would remember that one. All right, everyone, it's Leslie Flowers with Awakening Your Infinite Potential. Tell us something. I'll see you with the next presentation. Have a nice day, everyone.